All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Black City Pod. Your host, as always, is me, Steven, and my co-host. The show's co-host, as always, David.
Yep, I'm right here. We're just fresh off of our first Pokemon Unite tourney, but we also have a lot of interesting stuff to talk about with the Pokemon TCG as well. Just overall Pokemon stuff. A lot of news this week.
Yeah, kind of been on a Pokemon binge just because, obviously, yeah, we as we talked about last episode, Obsidian Flames was announced, not announced, but the card list has been slowly expanding, with more details. We didn't have a lot of good things to say as far as the game itself goes, but I think we might have some good things to talk about as far as it's the card art. Well, sort of. It's a mixed bag with this set, man. Like, I want to love it, but not really. But like, I want it to be a decent set, but it keeps throwing some low balls,
Yeah,
screwballs even.
I think they're really trying to salvage this set just because it is kind of a America needs to catch up to Japan's cards set. So in order to make the set have any type of value, they're just creating a bunch of really good art rares. They have a lot of notable artists doing some of the secret rares. But even still, this is going to be strictly a collector set, and illustration rares have been pretty cheap in Scarlet Violet blocks. So I don't even know if they can salvage it with Charizard alone.
No, they can't. But they based on the art for the. Can we just start with talking about the art for the Charizard card?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so and I'm not even going to talk about the regular. Let's talk about the gold rare.
Blah.
Yeah, it's so for the audio listeners of the show, what they have done is created like a stained glass because all the Terra types have that effect, right? Kind of the Pokemon gets kind of like a stained glass. I'm gonna say texture based on the games, because that's all it is. But it's a stained glass texture over the dark Terra type Charizard, and honestly, by itself, it's a pretty cool effect. What they've done is they made it super, like they upped the saturation, um, to the point where like it is like it's super bright oranges and reds and pinks and everything all over the appropriate parts of Charizard, and they put on a gold background that looks just super gaudy. And I guess that's the best way to describe it, is a super gaudy art of it, and I think it looks really bad. Um, Especially
Yeah.
coming off of like, I don't know, for example, Crown Zenith, right? But you were gonna say something.
No, I was really just saying to your point, it's like way too busy. Like for no reason, because they already have all of Charizard's normal colors. Then they have the black dark type crown. And then you have this like overly gold background that clashes with this like silver and black headpiece, which clashes with Charizard's like green and orange, and it's honestly an ugly card.
It's very gross.
And I can't see it retaining a lot of value. I'm sure collectors will want to just say they have all the Charizards, like obviously, but I think the other art versions of it will fare much better in the market, or even like if for some reason this card became super meta relevant, I'd see people playing the base art before they played this ugly thing.
Yeah, and but I think that's the intent, right? They know Charizard collectors are gonna grab this no matter what. So it's like let's make it. I mean, we're it's kind of funny. It's like, hey, let's make it this card exactly for like who's buying it. You know,
Mhm.
you want the gold Zardy, you want the you want the dripped out Zardy. You gotta this is it. This is what you want. We even like block out the dumb dark Terra type face on it.
Yeah, but in contrast, though, the alternate art for it, I think, is actually a beautiful card
So the alternate art, I don't think
with
I
the silver background.
So is this the same card with just the black and white instead of the gold?
Yeah, the black and white.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I think those colors work better for. I think like this is the problem, right? Because gold cards can look good, but they have the run the issue if you add color to it, or it can be too much. I think in this case, and probably this case alone, they should have went with a rainbow secret rare.
Yeah, yeah. Rainbow Terras would. I think it's just like that was super obvious to me because even in the game, just the crystal refraction of light and stuff kind of gives off a rainbow glint when you do Terra raids and when you Terra type one of your Pokemon.
Yep, yep.
So it just makes more sense. And they were like, "Oh, fucking ugly mode."
Yeah, I'm just not sure why they thought. Well, I know why because they got rid of it, but I just think that the black and white background looks so much better than this. I guess rare. It is an increased rarity, which
Mhm.
is always dumb to me because this is also probably true too. This will probably be worth less in some cases at first because it's the gold
Mhm.
rare. Um, but this is probably the one time where like that's okay because it looks like garbage. Um, so, but that's just the Charizard. Like that's not what you and I care about. It's the illustration rares, right?
Yes.
Because
Yes.
like you said, they're trying to salvage the rest of this set with the illustration rares. And god damn it, they tried. They tried. They seriously tried.
Nah, they've done it for me. The Palafin, the Caesar.
It's I think if any of them, it's the Caesar for me. Um, man, they cannot help but make my homie look raw as fuck every time. He
Man,
doesn't
they
miss.
yeah. Yeah. Like that art is so beautiful. Like it's like watercolor and it's like the scene for those of you who are just watching, like I'll try and paint this picture for you. Like imagine two samurai fighting at sunset and it's like a quick draw. They did that with two Caesars and you get the perspective of the one who won that quick draw. And it's so beautiful. Like they have a slight rainbow in the grass, and then they have a silhouette of the Caesar who lost the quick draw, and they have the sunset in the background, and it goes beautifully with Caesar's black, red, and yellow color schemes. It's perfect.
It's such a good card. It's almost like he's fighting himself too. Cause they all in the anime had always been to just use double team.
It goes deeper.
That dude goes hard. He's been training. He's
It
ready.
yeah, he's grinding for the next Unite tourney.
Shit, maybe next season. But it's funny that we were talking about how this card might be potentially useful in the meta. Um, its first attack for one metal, doing 10 plus 50 for each ability on the opponent's side. Um, I I think I'm gonna try to get some copies, even the Japanese copies of this card. This because there are some Pokemon that I will go out of my way to buy early, um, just because. I think it's a safe bet because it's usually hard to get Caesar cards after a while. Because I know people don't talk about the Pokemon, but I mean, look at it. It's such a cool Pokemon. I think people just don't want to admit it because they were Scyther fans at first. Um, but just but this card in particular, just beautiful. If I ran a deck in person, which depending on how Steel ends up playing out, I might try to. Um, you best believe I'm having 4 copies of the illustration rare. Like,
Well, to your point, I think that he could very much be played because you see people taking in Gallade right now, right?
yeah,
So like, and just think, Caesar is a stage one,
yep,
so there's a very much possibility everyone's running stuff with abilities always on their bench. They're running the barrel, and people have like lost
Manaphy.
box mines. Yeah, exactly. So this could very much be relevant, and it's meta relevant because no matter how much you want to pretend it's not, like Shin Pao at some level will still be played for the like foreseeable month or two,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, exactly. So looking forward to seeing this card, but that's that's only one. Like that's my favorite. I don't know where you place the other ones at. Or anyone sticked out for you. Well, there's the Palafin one as well, which I think it just looks solid to me. I don't, it sounds like you're a big fan, but for me, I don't know, man. That Cleffa one, look at him.
I think it's beautiful.
He's so
Shooting
cute.
star at the Tekken stage, Infinite Azure.
No way.
I forgot hands.
Cleffa trying to throw down.
Yeah, look. That's not Wish, that's Metronome, man.
I wish to cook.
uh, Honorable mention though, the Rever Room having its boss fight peripheral from Scarlet and Violet. I always thought it was kind of lame, honestly, but I appreciate callbacks to source material, so
Yeah.
that's my honorable mention for that because you can see in its what's his first form, Varum or Varum?
Shoot, I don't even remember its name.
I think it's Varum.
Yeah, it
You can
is. It
see it,
is.
and it's okay. Awesome. You can see it at a like in like a car shop or something.
Yeah, I'm about to
It's
say
kind of cute.
it's building it.
Helping their big bro everyone get ready for I don't know me to use Garganackle and destroy it in one hit.
Bless up.
Respectable job. Did you
Uh,
like any other arts from the other reveals, like some of the trainers or like the Pidgey and stuff?
I mean, I'm not ever a fan of like Poppy getting anything, to be honest. So the child, I don't know. It's like it's does nothing for me. So I'm like whatever. The champion, that is good art. All right, I don't remember her name, but
Is it Gita?
I think it is. Yes. Thank you for being on top of this, by the way. I've played Gen 9, and she was so underwhelming as a trainer. I was like, all right, I don't care about you anymore. Goodbye. Um, I think the Pidgey line is funny. I think the artwork for it is kind of goofy. Not like good enough for me to go get, especially the Pidgeot one. Not a big fan, but the Pidgeotto one definitely up there for me. Not even as a
Pidgeotto's
card.
best one.
You think which one is?
Pidgeotto is the best out of the three, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
easily, easily.
It reminds me of in the old Pokemon games. Remember when they had the mail system? It
Oh
reminds me of
yeah,
something you'd have as like something in the top right corner of a piece of mail you'd send.
yeah. True, true, true. And correct me if I'm wrong, but these seem like new artists.
Yeah, some of them for sure. I haven't heard of the person who did Caesar. I think they have the pen name Oku.
Yes.
I haven't seen any of his art before. I thought he was the artist who did the what's that one painting? But what's the painting of the guy on a bridge screaming?
Oh, the
Or
screen painting.
yeah, the scream painting. I thought it was the artist who did the Mimikyu and Pikachu scream painting Pokemon arts, but it's not because there's a different name on those.
Mm.
It escapes me right now. But the black and white Charizard, Akira Egawa, he's done a couple arts before. The name's familiar. But besides that, yeah, some of these are just straight up like new people.
I mean, what a way to come in though to the series. I mean, that is like an accolade for sure, but like I can see some of these being, like hopefully I think all of these artists. I look forward to what other cards are going to do, but this is a great first showing. Like they look really good.
Do
Um,
you remember Crown Zenith Luminion?
the artist for them,
No, do you remember the card art for it?
yeah, when it's in like it's under the water, it's kind of like a kind of like a layered thing going on, right?
Yeah, so the artist for that, his name's Jerky. He's the one who did the Pidgey line for the set.
That's some range,
Yeah. Yeah.
because I'll put it up on screen for the video, folks. But that is like night and day for that card, and then to go to that. I mean, I'm not knocking the guy. Both are great art, but like, you know, that didn't take you much longer than the Luminion one took you a little bit longer. I'm guessing.
Right. And I will say the only reason I know that is because he did the Bellsprout art for 151,
You and Bellsprout,
which I
huh?
will be collecting. That's the boy. There's a gift somewhere of him beating the crap out of Ash's Pokemon.
That's true. I don't remember the anime very much, but I did remember that. Who I don't even know who it was. Just some random person's Bellsprout, by the way, just beating ass.
Yeah, I don't think it was Eric. Well, I'm not even gonna get into anime,
No.
but anyway, yeah, Bellsprouts were wrong. Another notable artist though is Dom. He did the Gita art for Obsidian Flame. And I don't know if you remember the Deoxys V Star where he's in speed form. Um,
Let's see.
it's the one that has a Psychic Javelin and Star Force. I don't know if that's ringing a bell at all.
It is now because I just found it.
Okay. Well, yeah. So Dom did the Gita art, and he also did he did that Deoxys art, and he also did the Jolteon art for Brilliant Stars.
Man, if I'm not mistaken, let me double check on this. I think he also did the Zero art. Nope, I'm wrong.
Similar art style for sure, though.
Yeah, don't worry, I'll get my artist down eventually. But like, great art. Also, not the same style either.
Yeah,
There's definitely
exactly.
similarities, but man, they must have a lot of fun making these. I would think anyway. But
I think it's beautiful. I wanted to collect the Deoxys cards, but similar to you with your Delta species, I had to learn the hard way. Not a financial decision I am able to make right now.
just not feasible. But hey, I did play the lottery today, so
Oh Lord, what did
we'll,
you
we'll,
do?
hmm?
What did you do?
I didn't buy two. I only spent like $12.
Oh, okay.
I mean, hey, if I was throwing around money for some lottery tickets, you know, my dumb ass go buy some Pokemon cards instead. Better
Anyway,
odds, baby. Come on.
something that so obviously like we're talking about the set and all the artists and stuff. All of the art rares and illustration rares and gold rares haven't been revealed yet, but I definitely believe that Dragonite and Tyranitar have to get one, right? Like they have to get art rares.
That would be incredibly strange if they did not. At least one of them, right? Because
Right.
the not to say, and I have to go back and check, but not to say that every single time that the box Pokemon, let's say, doesn't get an extra, but they at least get. I would think that one of them gets an alt art, because I think the set still could use some little bit of some extra money cards in there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, some more diversity in like what's there.
Yeah. So I think we'll get something like that because I know they're promoting Charizard as the big guy, but Dragonite and Tyranitar getting nothing, just taking back seat. You can't do that. You know.
Right.
So we'll probably see in the coming weeks. We still got some time. We have one more week before the first pre-release weekend, and then we'll have another one in August. I'm going to assume that by next weekend we will have the entire card list, because that's usually how they do these things. So
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, whenever that happens, we will be sure to cover it because this is what we talk about.
So what's the verdict? Is it saved? Is it worth buying?
No.
So let's say, like, let's rank it by this: booster pack, ETB, or booster box.
This is worth opening an ETB at most, and I mean a
I
singular
and
ETB.
I'm probably not going to do that anyway.
Yeah, we will let Johnny be the sample size,
Oh yeah, Johnny's got
and
plenty of cards to get. He's got to get that
he
Charizard.
can test on it. Exactly. He's got 3 Charizards to get, man. Get to work.
Yeah, bro. What are you doing? Save that money. Yeah, I
Well,
will.
speaking of,
Oh
oh
yeah,
no, go on. Go on.
I was like, oh, yeah. Last thing I'll say, I will probably buy some packs for this, but I'm probably gonna get most of my cards online. Singles,
Yeah,
baby.
yeah. And art, like we said earlier, art rares are pretty cheap. Um, but just onto the ETBs and boosters with like the collection stuff. I saw the ad for the TCG about that
Ah,
there's a collector and everyone. Did you want to
did you
talk
watch?
about that?
Yes. Let's talk about this insane ad. They like this drug trip ad. What is this ad?
Yeah.
First of all, I feel like the scenes they're putting in like I'm back in like early 2000s. Like, come on, Pokemon. Gen 2 was decades ago. We're, we're not running around the woods and skateboarding anymore. Like people are doing that, but not people you're trying to advertise to. You know, like
Yeah, also the shameless plug merch skateboard only
oh,
on PokemonCenter.com.
which by the way, I've heard multiple times they break very easily. They're for show, not for actually skateboarding.
Right, they're for display strictly, and that even in the ad, the guy who has it is not riding it, and everyone else is riding normal skateboards.
Damn it. So Pokemon released this ad pretty recently. You might have seen. I don't know what you need to watch to get Pokemon TCG ads. To be honest, because even when we watched NIC, I didn't get any ads on YouTube for this. But Pokemon Company released this ad, obviously to promote the trading card game, their new series, and it seems like they're. I mean, am I wrong to think that they are trying to advertise to us and maybe a few years younger crowd? Because
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think you're right, but I think you still had something
yeah,
as a
I
thought. Okay.
it's odd to me because it started with this like younger kid who had some type of water effect to it, and he was like, "Oh man, like whoa, I have water Pokemon." And then this like 20 something uh girl who was skateboarding, who of course had the cool flames on her helmet. Um, she knows like, oh, water Pokemon. I'll have you know, whoa, and her eyes just expanded for no fucking reason. And then Reshiram flies out as a card. It's like, well, I have the Reshiram card, and that's my collection. And I guess the effect is that like I don't even know what they're trying to promote because like she brought out a card and then this electric zap shot out at somebody else was like, oh shoot, I like Pokemon too now. Here's my card.
Right.
And of course they're showing all their, Pokemon V cards because those are $1 a piece. So of course everyone's got one.
So I don't know if you've looked more into this ad, but they have a Pokemon card collection contest.
No, did not. Just saw the ad and stopped there.
Yeah, so they have a Pokemon card collection contest, and the ad campaign for the description for the video. Whether you exclusively collect fire type Pokemon or have a binder full of different favorites, there's a collection in everyone. So if you go onto the website that's in the description, which is just called collectioncontest.com,
Yeah.
it says round 104, and it has July 7th to July 21st, 2023. Do you have a favorite collection? Welcome to the Pokemon TCG Collection Contest. This contest offers residents of UK, France, and Germany a different challenge every fortnight that will allow them to showcase their Pokemon trading card game collections. However, global fans can offer their support and vote via the contest gallery for the collections that are the best. In this round, we want to see their favorite Pokemon TCG collection and why they love collecting. It can be a pile of cards,
No.
pages from your binder, even a small selection of your favorite cards. Share some love and cast a vote. And uh, they have so many entries. Like they almost have a million entries. Well, that's a bit of an overstatement, but they have over 200,000 entries currently at the time of recording.
Viewable or
And
just
some,
like it's just a
yeah,
number?
viewable,
Oh,
viewable. It says view the hottest entries, and I'll share the link with you. But this is a interesting ad campaign with, like you said, everyone's eyes glowing and people blowing up into like Rapture card collections, and everyone is wearing Pokemon merch, and some guy getting hit in the head by a soccer ball and then turning into a Zero Aura, and it's just a lot going on.
you know
But
what's and yeah, that
not go on.
I think the ad is definitely for a certain audience, but I just got onto the web page. Can you guess
Yeah,
which Pokemon is featured on the front?
I mean, I know who's featured on the
Oh, okay.
front.
It's your boy, the most goated Pokemon from Gen 9. There's no
Spidops is more popular than me.
Spidops is more popular than Alolan Vulpix and Arcanine combined.
Yeah.
This is the showman. Um,
Oh man.
this to your point though, this is a very interesting ad campaign. I'm looking forward to the troll submissions. Like, I know there's not a whole you can do, but like it's very easy to be like, let me just post all the waifu cards. Let me try to sneak in a fake card. I think this someone did submit some fake cards, actually. Yep, I'm looking at this entry right here. It's a bunch of gold fake cards.
Yeah, you're probably looking the same one as me. I'm not gonna dox him or have people bother him, but yes, I am looking at a page full of gold rare cards. Some of these were never printed in gold.
Definitely not in this gold. Um, yeah, so this is the problem, right? Because there's a great video. I'm not, I think people who watch internet people know, but like any poll's a goal. Um, anytime you let the internet vote on something, they're just going to pick the dumbest and stupidest thing to make you look like a fool. So,
Right.
um, I know this says view the hottest entries and the fact that these fake cards are currently trending. Um, I would be surprised if they didn't come close to winning. you know,
Yeah, I can see them winning.
yeah,
Just
like
because
just because
out of
it's
spite.
because there's like the people on the internet. It's like, all right, let's rally around. How do we mess this up? How do we mess this up? And
People in the subreddit.
yeah, exactly. So like, I think this is a cool idea, but let me see. What is the prize? What is the grand prize? I guess
I
showcase.
was looking into that, but I don't see anything about a prize.
Yeah, not really. Oh, here we go. Win amazing prizes. A Scarlet and Violet. Okay, so Scarlet and Violet cards. So ETBs, display box, card sleeves, deck box, a Ultra Pro bind. So not like anything super crazy, but um, yeah, I can see people are screwing around with this for sure. Um, yeah, I mean, I think it's cool, but the ad itself is wild. Like, I don't know who did the research on how do we get the correct, like, how do we appeal to the kids these days or something like that. But I don't know, it creeped me out whenever they like someone grabbed a card. Like, is
Right.
that they look like,
I share that sentiment.
yeah, it's like they were on an acid trip and like everyone was just catching the acid. And
Yes.
no, go on.
No, it's just so I guess two things. One, obviously weird as hell, especially the guy who does this dance move and like explodes into electric type cards. But the thing
Rest in
that
peace.
yeah, the whole soccer game just in shambles. Real sports shambles. So with this ad though, Pokemon TCG has always had the rep that like no one plays this game. They strictly collect it.
Yeah.
And this tells me that even as a company, they have acknowledged this fully. And this is like they're trying to convince people to just collect these
Big
cards
surrender
now.
moment.
Yeah, exactly. They're not trying to even make this some super competitive or well designed game. I'm not saying it's horribly designed, but this ad makes me think that creating collector products is of more importance to them. And we kind of saw that with like the Ito collection for the evolutions. You were just drawn as like outlines with the signature comedic face.
Yep.
Like it seems that this is more of a collector hobby than a competitive TCG.
Well, and I didn't think we were gonna actually talk about this. When you think about it, it's kind of what they're doing. Because even with the current competitive scene, I mean, they're almost following a pattern, right? And again, I feel like other games don't do that. They try to reinvent the game in a different way, but I mean, hopefully this isn't the case. But I feel like even EX is just going back to V's again. Because the twist here isn't super big. I think they're just gonna follow a flowchart for the because they think, oh, the game's fine now, people like the game how it is, so let's not try to innovate it at all. And you kind of compare it to older stuff where we didn't have EX, well, not EX, let's say we didn't have um V cards, we had EX cards, but back when that was a new thing, that was a whole different twist to the game, or level X or Prime, or
Right.
like they were doing different stuff with those cards. Similar things, of course, but like the gimmick was not a reiteration of what came before. And I feel like right now with EX to Vs, it seems like that is the case. Which I mean, even Vs were just GXs.
Exactly. With a different letter.
Yes. So to that point, it seems like they have no intention of changing things up. And this being, oh, this is for show your collection, is like, yeah, we know you just want to collect. And that's bad. I don't know. Like, maybe make your game better or different. Not even better, just try something different. Like, I'm always down to try something new. And I'm not super happy with V. It works, but I don't think it's doing anything super interesting, and sometimes it'd be kind of lame. But yeah, like, I think that's what they're going for right now, is what I'm trying to get at. So, I mean, we will see, but I will say that they really need to not make this ad ever again. Because first, and then I think the worst part about it's not drawing any attention. I only found this because I was looking for a VOD for NAIC, and of course it's hard as hell to find it on Pokemon's channel. And then I saw this in like the top right corner of the screen. I was like, what is that? Because the thumbnail was the skater girl with her eyes super big. I was like, what's going on in this ad? And is this fake?
Yeah, most of the comments were like, this is nightmare fuel. This is like a eldritch horror dopamine hit or something. Like people just had crazy things like the thumbnail triggered my fight or flight.
Is this
Be
what I've
careful,
been
there's a
doing this
bug going
entire
around.
time?
Yeah, people were just like going crazy, and the comments honestly were, some of them were kind of sweet. They were like, "This is like an early 2000s ad, like Cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs and stuff like that."
Yeah, but
So I think it worked. Honestly, if that's how people are responding,
I hope it's not how they're trying to appeal to like us Gen 2 generation, because man, that's gonna suck.
the old guard has already spent all they could. It's up to us.
The less old guard. Now it's your turn. I don't want to be on acid. I'm sorry.
Yeah, man.
Well,
That's kind of all I got for that ad, though. it was odd. It was very odd to watch, very jarring. 50 seconds of my life ruined, but I'm part of the problem. So there's
I guess
that.
so. So be sure to vote in the collection contest. Um, hey, if you find fake cards, vote for that shit. I think it'd be really funny. What do you have to lose? You give someone who doesn't have money for actual cards to get some Scarlet and Violet booster boxes and stuff. You're doing a you're doing God's work. Like giving to those who do not have. Simple as. All right. Well, I think from there, we've talked enough about TCG for a while, but not enough about Pokemon. So, you know,
Clearly.
well, I mean, this one's kind of relevant because we did this yesterday. The time it's recording. Um, we recently, and well, not recently. We've been doing this for a while. We've been playing Pokemon Unite, Pokemon's MOBA, for quite some time now, and we decided to give a tournament a shot. There was one going on a Friday when we were all free, and we decided to enter it. Which, by the way, the podcast is named after our Unite team, the Black City Blues. So I know some people might have noticed a tweet that we posted the VOD for the tournament. Apologies for the last minute. It seems like last minute quality. We kind of just did on a whim, and we didn't have everything set up. So, but we had a good time. I think we took our first set, which I was very not surprised, but I'm very impressed that we did so. And yeah, I kind of want to just kind of talk about that experience and how we felt about it, and I guess how we feel. I guess this is our intro in the podcast to Unite, so I guess how we kind of feel about the game itself.
Yeah, and actually, do you want to include our team captain and Miguel?
Yeah. So, if you
You can
give us,
kind of go over thoughts with them as well.
yeah. So let's do that. Let's do that right now. Alrighty. So we're back, and we have with us, first of all, our team captain Joseph.
Yes, sir.
And our other team member, Miguel.
What's up?
Obviously, Unite's a 5-man team, but we caught these two playing Unite at the moment. So rather than trying to corral everybody else, the four of us can say enough, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
So, Steven kind of alluded to this earlier, but it was kind of a last minute endeavor. I think the tournament was in an hour, and I was at the gym signing up and everything, and I had like I think 20 minutes maybe to get all my information together. And I think someone else was busy too. I think someone else was at work. But
No, I was just late because I wasn't looking at my phone.
all right, never mind.
Yeah.
I tried to cover.
No. Let's 100% honest podcast here.
Yeah, but it all came together. We all made it to round one, made it to check in, and in our first round, I guess the team name doesn't really matter. We played against another smaller like ragtag team of people who've been playing a little bit longer than us.
They had an established Twitter account, so they had to be doing something.
Yeah, but I will say it was not a bad match, and to win our first one was really meaningful because it made me feel like, okay, we can kind of do this, and we haven't been playing for nothing. But at the same time, it was also like, yeah, get fucked, dudes.
Straight up, yeah. Because like it came down to, I mean, game 2 was like, oh, they just use Hoopa, and I was like, oh well, don't really know what we're doing with that one. But to come back game 3 and they used the same build and we managed to beat them, like that's to me that was like, oh cool, like you said, like we actually are something. This is something that we're actually learning something, and some say we got lucky, but it's not all about luck. You had to get there to the first place to win Ray.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess Joseph, I don't know if you want to chime in about the first set at all, but I think something that we did better is we changed our team comp and kind of adapted in game 3 after losing game 2. And for those who don't know, it's best of 3 in a Pokemon Unite tourney. So it was one of our first times playing a best of 3 against another team, and I think we pivoted pretty well considering all things.
I would.
I agree to that point, but my thing is just a constant thing we kept seeing, even when we did kind of adapt to our mess, was that our early games were always like really, really disappointing.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and
That's for sure.
And I do think that is partially because when we don't scrim, we kind of just go in and play Unite ranked, where, not to say that like there's a big difference or anything, but there's a lot of times where you're just fighting, just a random hodgepodge of people. So like we might have a good early game against them, but then when we fight against actual trying to be tournament players, that's where the competition really kind of starts up. And we got kind of a glimpse of what that looks like. I think, David, you looked up later who we were playing against. We were playing against some like 1,800 player teams. I know like elo doesn't matter too much, but
They've been around the block.
yeah, for sure.
But considering that we did win a set, we might not be legit, but we're like legit junior because we definitely won our first set.
Someone was talking about, I was like, oh man, because we got seeded last. I don't know if people saw the seeding.
We were for sure. I mean, we were a random team,
yeah,
coming into a tournament that no one knew about, so it has to be seeded last.
For sure. I mean, yeah, but I don't really know. By the way, the tournament was hosted by Underdunk. They
shout out
to them for hosting, and we'll be sure to, I guess, try to keep that in mind next time I tweet it out. But I'm not sure how they gather teams, but I was almost certain that this was kind of like it's open invitation, so I was expecting to see other, I guess, no names, So, but I guess the point I was trying to make, for being seeded last, I mean, we were kind of expected to go 0-2, and we were not the 0-2ers. Not this time around.
I do want to just say they didn't have necessarily like last place team was us, even though yes, it did kind of work out that way because there were groups of people they didn't know. They kind of seeded in groups. So although yes, we did have 20th seed of 20, they stated that teams 16 through 20 were just like in a group that they didn't know how to seed. So we were just kind of thrown into that group.
Got it.
So we were bottom seed.
Yeah, the only couple of teams that were like absolutely like they knew like how to seed these were like Spinal and Ignorance, and then like the next 6, they like knew generally they were skilled or like had been participating for a lot longer. So they had actual data to back up like how to seed those teams.
Got it. Well, now they've got the data on how to seed us next time.
I am curious if our is this enough of a performance to really move us up in a group? I don't know, but I'm curious.
We'll have to see in the next 2 weeks.
Yeah,
I would like to at least run this series again. Seemed like the teams it was a large enough tournament that you're not going to fight the same person over and over again. So I think it was like 18 teams, something like that. So pretty large for us.
A first.
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
Do you want to talk a bit about like characters you played at all? I don't think anyone on the podcast knows even like what role you tend to favor. So.
Yeah. Because this is like kind of our first time kind of breaking into Unite at all. But so I mostly play like a flex, to be honest, because I'll play attackers and supporters. and all rounders. So basically, try to like fill roles that we need for the rest of the team. Obviously, I didn't get a chance to play in this tournament because, surprisingly, I guess not surprisingly, Leafeon was a very popular pick for this tournament. I've been on the kick of using Leafeon when I played Unite, especially for ranked. So because of that, I played mostly a supporter role with Clefable, which I'm pretty comfortable with. Pretty good to deal with big threats like Zoroark and Urshifu, anyone with a dash, really. And I felt like that helped a lot for this tournament to kind of be able to play separate different roles and stuff. I've never done the whole bans and counter picking, so it helped that I could play a couple of different roles. But that's kind of where I was. Obviously, my other teammates, of course, I'm sure have thoughts as well.
I think overall this was just a testing ground anyway, so yeah, I think it's pretty well put together because that's exactly what we're doing. Trying out different roles, trying out what works, what doesn't. Just basically seeing the groundwork for what we can do in the future and where we should go from there. So that's why it's still pretty cool that we won a game in general.
Yeah. But what do you play, Joseph?
I'm Flex because I play a lot of characters in this game. I play this game a lot, so usually I play in the jungle because I want to do damage because I don't think we have a consistent damage dealer yet when I'm not a damage dealer. So right now that's my primary role, but I would consider myself a flexible pick because of my wide character pool and understanding of the Pokemon I'm playing.
So to contrast Joseph, I think I have the least amount of playtime or at least like length of time playing the game. I think I might be the newest player to the game. I typically tend to play defenders has kind of been like my main role. Like if we're what are we gonna play? Who's gonna be a defender role? It's usually me. Now all of us have at least one defender. So we can be flexible. And then when I am not playing defender, I usually play support. And I am working on attackers, but yeah, just like to kind of contrast, like I'm learning those, whereas like I don't know, I think it's good to have people be able to flex. So I'm trying to get around to learning more roles. Joseph and I were talking about that earlier today, actually.
You might hear in the background someone's currently in a game, but the
the
grind is real.
So the grind never stops.
Never stops.
We got to win at least 2 sets next week.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, I guess I'm the last person. So I typically tend to be the attacker role. Sometimes I can flex into tank or an all-rounder, but I like to play my ranged attackers in most games I play. So, big Delphox man, there are fires to be spun, and I spin fires. I did play a lot of Lapras this tournament, which at first I was not a huge fan of, but just the value you bring to your team, I think, is amazing in terms of your survivability and also your ability to CC people. It's great. We talked a bit about the differences of experience we have. I'd say I'm like somewhere in like middle or upper middle out of everyone on my team. And I want to get a lot better at the like macro decision making because I feel like I used all of my Lapras ults in an aggressive manner and not really for mobility. Like I strictly used it to like knock someone up and then hit them with bubble beam and like basically pray someone on my team killed. But that aside, I think every Delphox game I played, I did phenomenal, and I will continue to work on my Delphox in Zoroark. That's the type of player I am.
For sure. Yeah, I think we have a good mix. I think it was kind of puts the team together. We have actually a good mix of like what we want to play because everyone has, of course, you want to have an open and wide pool, but like, who do you want to play in this game, or who do you want to play, I guess, in MOBAs in general, right? And I like being in the middle of fights, so a lot of my characters are melee fighters, and that, like for example, for like Meech, who plays defender, is familiar with that. That works for us as a team because like, okay, I can play that role and he's comfortable playing that defender role, so comfort picks work across the board. Obviously, as David said, the mage character. Joseph doesn't care; he'll play any character he says. So, it's a good mix. It's a good mix. Um, so I did want to ask everyone in the room any like highlights from this tournament or anything that was just like kind of like interesting. Because for me, well, two things, just to kind of give an example of two different things. Like for one, how short that 30-second timer is for picking bands and counter picking. Like to me, that was probably the most hectic part of the tournament, especially obviously first time and everything like that. But having to decide based on the last game within a short time period to be like, okay, who do we need to cut out and keep from the other team? To me, that was like super,
Well,
hectic.
I will say that it felt short because like we didn't really have a idea of what we're doing going into that really. So I feel like it's fine. 30 seconds like playing time. You don't want too much time, I would think.
Oh, I'm not asking for more time. I'm just saying that it was kind of hectic for me.
It was
Especially when there's so
something that stood
many,
out, yeah.
especially when there's so many factors too to kind of consider because, like, what they play game one, but that doesn't necessarily mean like that's their gameplay for game two because we saw with even our first round, they didn't run the Hoopa set. So in our head, it was like, okay, they're not running it. I think, did we ban Umbreon or Hoopa game one?
We banned Hoopa game one.
Okay.
Yeah, and they played Umbreon into us, and then the next game when we didn't ban Hoopa and we instead banned Umbreon, they picked Hoopa immediately.
Yeah. And then that gets into counter picking to be like, okay, well, we'll ban this character, but then let's take this off the table. And it's like, okay, that was a whole other extra factor element to it where it's like, oh, like, does anyone have an Umbreon so we can just take this character away from them? Like, even, again, first time, so it's like, obviously, maybe won't be as hectic the next time, but, like, the mind games there were a part of Unite obviously had an experience because you can't do draft picks and regular ranked. So
yeah,
as someone doesn't play league and stuff like that, obviously that's completely foreign to me. Sorry, Michi, you something.
No, I was just gonna say, you're good. I was just gonna say that not having played in a tournament before, we haven't really broken into the the community yet and like made other friends with other teams where we could scrim yet. So I think that like branching out and like scrimming with other teams and B like playing more is going to get us more comfortable. Once we go into that banning and picking phase, to not be so flustered or to not really lose our cool in that situation, because I think that did hurt us in our second set where we kind of weren't totally sure what we were talking about or wanting to go into that game with a real game plan. And again, part of it was that we found this tournament like in the early afternoon on that same day. So we just kind of like threw out the ping like, hey, tournament tonight, and we threw it together at the last second. We played one warm-up game, I think, with a bunch of Pokemon that we didn't really play in the tournament. So
yeah, also against Amaterasu.
Raw.
Yes, we did play against. Well, not the whole team, but we did play against players from Amaterasu right before the tournament as a warm-up, and yeah, that did happen.
Yeah, for those who don't know, Amaterasu is the whole overarching team. A lot of their players competed in Worlds this year or regionals this year to go to Worlds, and placed pretty high. So I think they were also expected to win regionals. They were predicted to. One of the top players or top teams predicted to win. Anyway, not the point, but we got mollywopped into our tournament the next match. So it was an interesting night for sure. Yeah. So, I will say the personal highlight for me was, I'm just keep talking about the first game because that first set was crazy. but it was the last. Yeah, it was game 3, and we had just gotten Ray, or not. Either we got Ray or we stopped him from scoring for Ray. And I'm playing Clefable, whose alt is you just get a random good move. Um, and just the icing on the cake to get blocked right when you need it, and to prevent their entire team from scoring, just being like, all right, y'all got like 30 seconds left. I want to waste 20 of them just because I can, and push them all the way across the bottom lane. Oh man, that felt so good to hit them with that. But I had great time during that set for sure.
I think I've got a highlight to top that. So, in our first set that we won, this is post game, we got our first scrub quote from the enemy team. So, in our last game, we weren't like severely behind. We were behind enough that we needed Ray to win, which is just a part of Unite. And we won the last team fight, got Ray, and won the game. So one of the people on the enemy team sends us a poop emoji and a clown emoji and says, GG's, I suppose. And for me, that's when I knew. For me, that's when I knew we won.
Single down.
Because, oh man, when someone like shows all their cards or someone shows how they really feel about something past the sportsmanship, you got to them. So that was definitely a highlight for me because it was our first tournament set together ever, and we already got people feeling some type of way. We're on our way for bigger things, greener pastures.
Definitely gonna leave our mark on it. At least we did for that organization. We're not gonna name them, but like I said, they are an established, at least somewhat org.
And we will play against them again, and wishing them all the best. But obviously, I always wish that our team wins. So
yeah,
that's kind of where the hopes
GGs.
end for them. Yeah, GG's to them.
Yeah, still waiting for my real GGs. They ain't no supposed.
Oh yeah.
That's why you gotta win the run back.
That's right.
I did check, and that team played in that series, the Underdunk series, for the first time that night.
Interesting.
What a coincidence.
Yeah.
Huh. Seems I also was doing that.
Yo, team rivals?
Hey, I wouldn't mind. Meech brought this up earlier, and a slight tangent, but I do think it's important that we scrim against real people because playing against randoms on ranked or standard on occasion doesn't give us the full best 2 out of 3 experience.
Game at all.
Yeah.
Like in general, we just don't like how we don't rotate or anything like that. There's a lot of flaws we can see. Like it's exemplified in tournament that you don't see in ranked. So
yeah,
very important to scrim against actual players who are consistent in what they do and actually have synergy.
Absolutely.
Right. Yeah, that's my highlight though. Gameplay wise, I don't think I did anything crazy. I had a couple like really good like team fights and stuff, but if I'm playing Delphox, like that stuff's like second nature for me. I learned a lot of stuff that I need to work on more so than like were highlights. But the post game salt, yeah, I'm still thinking about that. I'm gonna relish in that for the next 2 weeks probably.
Yeah, man. Like getting better as a player,
about it.
That's good and all. That's boring, bro.
Causing emotional damage to someone.
I was wrong, actually. That team has played in this series before. I did just double check.
See?
Underdunk 13, 7, and 5. And they did beat a really highly ranked team at the NA qualifiers. That's what I meant to say.
So we beat a really high.
All right, Miguel, since you're talking so much, spilling all the beans, what was your highlight from this event?
Honestly, just being able to participate and throwing it together last second, it was really fun. I just want to be able to do it again, and again, like as a team, not get too bogged down in the banning and picking phase. I think that's something to focus on for me, like, or for us as a team. I think that's something we should focus on. As far as highlights, I don't know. I think game 3 when we did win that Ray fight was like I thought I played really well in that last team fight. You know, like I went after I don't remember who they were playing, but I slow beamed and I thought we played that situation well, even though right before that it felt a little bit like a scramble.
Yeah, well, to your point, we should definitely do this a lot more because the whole like scrambling for team comps definitely didn't help at all. But
Mhm.
um, to also to your point, we did have a lot of fun doing it, and we did have some like really good, in my opinion, just like random synergistic moments,
Yeah,
like unscripted, like oh this happened to work out. Just making those things actual like muscle memory is going to be awesome in the future.
Yeah, I
for
mean
sure.
this game can it's a MOBA and Unite. Like this game can be really cool when you squint hard enough. But when it's a team who's really in sync, like that's when I think it really like shows and shines. But
No, I agree. Solo queue's like a completely different game. It makes you hate the game. But then when you actually play with 5 people versus 5 people, it becomes like a really interesting game.
see
And
exactly.
I think that's what the developers are seeing too. Is they do not care about solo queue players at all. They only bounce around the
I
competitive
mean,
players.
you see it in the lack of all the features they add for full stacks, right? Like custom games has all the features that you would want in like a
Whereas,
MOBA, and then you get the solo queue and you get none of it.
exactly.
Which I guess makes sense. You don't want to. They don't want to support, you know, the solo queue voice chat people.
I think they're good at it.
I think they are too. Dude, okay, so this is so I know completely like 180, but like not even 180. But we were talking in chat about Charizard because Charizard's just a stupid character. It was funny. I was playing Unite, and like immediately when we brought that up in our Discord discussion, someone in voice chat in the game, I was sitting in the lobby waiting, and someone picked Charizard, and then this Venusaur player is like, "Hey, dude, don't pick Charizard. Come on, bro, don't do it. Like they have Hoopa. Why'd you do that? No, please." He was
That was
goaded, by the way.
weird.
The Venusaur was goaded.
Oh, dope. Always good to have a good Venusaur. Just carries games.
Yeah, I VIP
Well,
though.
there has been a spike in Charizard players.
I don't even know why, because I think one of the kind of talk about the tournament, like not not a relevant, well, not like a popular pick. I will say, like I think showed up once in our run, not even. Yeah, just I don't know what's going on in solo queue, or people are seeing that Charizard's old is still stupid, but I don't know why they're only just now coming to that conclusion. That character's been
Yeah.
out forever. But yeah, I mean, I guess on that topic, um, the popular picks was Zeraora, Koopa, Leafeon, and Umbreon, I would say. Um, which makes sense. Most of those characters are really easy to play, or busted damage output, or just really good team based support.
Yeah, I think Hoopa not wasn't like really a surprise for me, but you just kind of notice that no one else even compares to like the role Hoopa fills in a composition.
No.
And
Right.
in a competitive setting where there's only like one of each Pokemon allowed on the field. So like if someone picks Hoopa on the enemy team, that locks all of us out from picking Hoopa.
Yeah.
You kind of have to almost strategize around that Pokemon because like on the enemy team they have to like play around that Pokemon's abilities, and then we as the enemy team have to like make plays based on like where their hoop is at and like how competent their hoop is. That's something that I'm still having, I guess, difficulty trying to figure out the best answer to, because I feel like we've always struggled against good hoopas. But
Yeah.
it was good to actually play against it in a best 2 out of 3 format where we could verify that it was actually a competitive or like meta threat we need to actually practice against.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, my personal feelings aside, Joseph, I don't know if you had any highlights you wanted to share. We all kind of did ours.
I wouldn't say I had any highlights. It was just kind of like really felt like standard ranked games, to be honest. With the like how everyone was performing, not just us, like even like people we're playing against. Like, yeah, coordination there, but it was nothing like the skill gap's huge or something like that. Kind of like, well, if we clean up, we're there. So I guess for me, the highlight was just really just like highlighting what is wrong, like what we're missing as a team. So just like seeing like what we can improve on. We have the bod, like a half baked bod, because you only one perspective, of course. And like
that's
what
why
we're
our
doing
Pip isn't here. He's still sad of getting blown up from the fun review.
I mean, and just in general, the lack of panning the camera and stuff like that would have been helpful too, like when you're dead, and especially. But it's like there's something I could talk about negatively, but overall, I think it's just like the potential there, and that's what I'm really excited for the highlight of like this game and what we did.
Yeah, that's fair. I think. I mean, there's obviously room for improvement, but like you said, the gap is not a wide margin at all. So.
These players suck, bro.
Who are you talking about? Not us.
I think he is talking about his ranked games right now.
Games. It's like Jesus Christ.
But they're same as a tournament, so
Tyranitar on my team.
Yeah. I think back to the Hoopa thing though. It is like playing an entirely different game though, because instead of your normal whatever kind of game plan, it's like now it's no longer just just play the game normally. It's like, oh, we have to, and then we kind of brought this up during the tournament, like, oh, we have to break the first 2 goals as soon as possible, just to at least limit movement. And that's tough when the other team knows that, right? So having to.
We didn't even.
Well,
none of the plans we put together never actually went through. So it's like we can't even test the stuff what you wanted.
I was getting to that team lead. Give me a second here. I think to me it was just like, well, one, we're not familiar with it too either, right? So even if we say let's do this, we've never put it into practice before, so it was just a hard matchup against for us as people who don't scrim, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, yeah.
I figured you and Joseph would have back and forth. I figured you and Joseph would have back and forth since you both seem to have feelings about it. But that was really it in terms of my thoughts on the Unite tournament. Just a lot to work on for next time.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and we will definitely present a better VOD as well. I don't want to like accentuate that, but like I know we were gonna watch that VOD and wonder like, well, what the hell's going on top lane? What are they screaming about? And we just won't know. But yeah, so expect more Unite content in the near future. Also, and we might see some more players too as well. This is also news to the other people on the call right now, but I got a message from somebody like, hey,
oh yeah,
yeah. I was like, well, they were looking for another squad because their squad just went inactive. I'm like, okay, well, if you just want the rewards, come through, but they might play with us every once in a while, so we'll see.
All right.
Hope you like Blissey.
I do.
Yeah, today didn't we have a Blissey steal Regieleki from us?
He
He
did.
did.
Edit this
Love
out.
Blissey. Oh,
No.
I was the Blissey? Question mark?
Yes. I was trying to last hit it and
What happened was, yeah.
And power standard attack goes crazy.
Playing an all EV team, by the way. I'm on the all EV team.
Saw a lot of that as well. I mean, can we talk about? I know, like, we're still on a podcast, but like, just how, I guess, how overpowering the evolutions are. Like, not as like individually they're fine, but like they all have a place in the current meta almost. I guess except maybe Sylveon.
no,
It
I
still
think
does
with
fine.
Sylveon's mobility keeps it like a threat to certain Mon and really good in certain team comps.
Worst of the five though. That's not.
I mean,
that's no means a bad.
yeah,
thing.
but that's yeah.
Man, what the worst of the top 5? No, I'm kidding. But
Right.
essentially, though.
Yeah.
When all 5 of those are in the like top, I don't know, 15 Mon in the game.
Yeah, easily. I think even you can even push them a little higher just because they're very pick up and play.
Yeah, I was gonna say top 12 at first, but I don't know if that would be controversial. Not that I can think of.
I don't think it
I-
is.
We can debate that on that episode.
I think after Glaceon nerfs, they kind of fell off, in my opinion.
I think so,
Yeah.
but you can definitely. I'm not gonna say build a team around it, but I mean you can make it work on multiple teams, right?
Yeah, it's not useless, but
I mean, Fallen, but not below Sylveon or Espeon as far as its ability to be able to rip objectives.
Oh, Espeon's still good. That Pokemon.
Espeon's great still. Espeon's been the same since launch, and they got buffed, and then it got nerfed again.
Yeah.
So I always had the same idea of gameplay.
Yeah.
Just a power bomb of damage.
Exactly. So yeah.
Well,
Gotta be honest, I think Treven's the worst matchup for Leafeon. That shit. How do you even
Trevenant?
Yes.
I mean, yeah, right? Because, you know, you're up in
Whatever.
Trevenant's grill. All right, cool.
And that defender's damage output versus Leafeon's like small health pool.
Yeah.
I will say I don't like that you're not invulnerable during Leafeon's ult, and against Charizard you don't do anything against Charizard.
Yeah.
Those are like 2 really hard matchups.
I mean, this is why I think that Pokemon is like, we call it like the balanced speedster, but like the damage output is crazy, but it's very easy.
You can outplay it. I think that's fine.
It's very easy to outplay it. Honest character, mostly.
I think Zoroark is still more busted for a speedster, in my opinion.
No,
Just from
absolutely.
I can agree with that.
Yeah, I think.
That's why I don't really care too much about this Leafeon. But as I'm playing it, I still prefer playing Absol right now, but obviously it's like my 10th game playing Leafeon, so that's what it is.
No, I think Zoroark is definitely problematic.
We are
What it can
destroying
do.
I can't believe this actually worked out. Also, it's possible Leafeon did 5.6k to me in one shot.
Yeah.
So it's possible to get one shot by that Pokemon. It's like, Jesus.
That's why you run,
Greninja at all levels dies to that.
It's
that's
insane.
why you run the claw to get that crit to make it even more. Yeah. Well, I think that'll do it. So thank you guys for taking some time to, I guess, would you call it an interview?
No, just like
A round table.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, folks. I think to our point, that's a fair point to stop. Thank you again for listening to the Black City Pod, and we'll have more for you. I know we promised Pokemon Sleep this episode, but trust me, we'll have a whole reveal. I think we'll have more to talk about when the game comes out too. So that can be a whole dedicated episode at this point.
Yeah, there's a lot to talk about with sleep. Yeah, to your point, I think there'll be a dedicated episode. There's a lot going on with that game that people have not talked about from the beta that I have a lot of opinions on.
And as do I. Don't sleep with your phone. All right. We'll catch you guys later.
Peace.